Buffer solution. पढ़ाइए आगे.
Okay, so you can see the various data that we have. We are here given a buffer is made by mixing 1 mole of ammonium hydroxide. So you can see the concentration of ammonium hydroxide or base is given. Then 2 mole of ammonium chloride. So the concentration of salt is even given. They are added to some water, but this some water means the volume of water is fixed. Now we need to calculate the pH of the buffer. Given pK of NH4 plus, so pK value of NH4 plus is also given. Now what do we have is NH4OH, which is 1 mole, which is a weak base, my dear students. NH4Cl is 2 mole, which is a salt, and pK value is given. Now let's say total volume. Suppose we make this total volume, my dear students. So let's say this total volume of the solution. Let's say this total volume of the buffer solution is 1 liter, and therefore concentration of base is 1 mole, 1 molar, so 1 mole per liter, and concentration of salt will be 2 mole per liter, because we have taken total volume of the solution is equal to 1 liter. So base is 1 mole per liter and salt is 2 mole per liter. We are well aware that pKa plus pKb is equal to 14. We have this pK value, that is 9.25, plus pKb is equal to 14. Therefore, pKb is equal to 14 minus 9.25. That gives the value 4.75. Now, please look at this equation. This is what it is known as the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So, POH is equal to pKb plus log of salt divided by base. We can put the value of pKb 4.75, and the concentration of salt is 2 mole per liter. Concentration of base is 1 mole per liter. Log of 2 divided by 1 is equal to log of 2, my dear students, and log of 2 is equal to 0.3010. Thus, my dear students, we have this 4.75 plus 0.3010, that is, we finally get the answer 5.0510. Now we are well aware that pH is equal to 14 minus POH. So here we have got the value for POH. So let us put the value of POH. So 14 minus 5.0, 14 minus, this is what I think, see, 14 minus 5.051, 14 minus 5.51, these all are zeros. So we get this value, instead of, it should be 9.949. So we get this value of pH is equal to 9.949. This is how, my dear students, we can solve the answers, because 14 minus 0. See, instead of just writing the 9, I have written 4. Let me do it once again for you. See, we have 14.0000. Then we have 5.051. So 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. Here we have 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. 9 minus 0 is equal to 9. Here we have 13 minus 8. So it's 8.941, sorry. It's 8.941. So the pH of the solution we will get is 8.949. This is how, my dear students, we get the answer. Let's move to the next question, dear students. A buffer solution is made using the mixture of 500 ml of 1 molar sodium acetate and 100,000 ml of 0.1 molar acetic acid. Calculate the value of pH of buffer given pK of acetic acid is 4.75. So please pay attention, my dear students, that we want to solve this particular problem. When we solve this particular problem, dear students, here we are given the data, the molarity of salt, which is given as 1.0 mole. The volume is given 500 ml. M2 is the molarity of acid, which is 1.0 molar. V2 is the volume of acid, that is 1000 ml. And pH we need to calculate. pK we need to calculate, my dear students. Please pay attention, my dear students, that we have the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. It says that pH is equal to pK plus log of salt divided by acid. So when we have pK value 4.75, log of moles per liter of salt or concentration of salt, we can write it as this way: concentration of salt divided by concentration of acid. that is moles per liter of acid. Now molar concentration, my dear students, is equal to moles in liter. That is what we call it, mole per liter. For salt, moles in liter is equal to molarity multiplied by volume in liter. So molarity is given 1, volume is given 500 ml, and 500 ml is equal to 500 divided by 1000 liter. So 500 divided by 1000 liter, that is 0.1, that is 1.0 into 0.5, that gives us the 0.5 mole per liter. It is 1, this is 1.0 because molarity is given. So 1 multiplied by 0.5 is equal to 0.5 mole per liter. Now for acid, moles per liter is equal to molarity multiplied by volume in liter. Molarity is 1.0, volume in liter is 1000 ml divided by 1000, that is 1. So we have the concentration of acid is equal to 1 mole per liter. Now let us put these values into the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So when we put these values, pH is equal to pK plus log of salt divided by acid, that is equal to 4.75 plus log of 0.5, that is the concentration of salt we have seen, and concentration of acid is 1. So we will have 4.75 into log of 0.5. Log of 0.5 means 5 into 10 to the power minus 1. That is log of 5 plus log of 10 to the power minus 1, which is equal to, log of 5 is 0.6989 and log of 10 to the power minus 1 is equal to minus 1. So finally we get 4.7510 minus 0.3011. Ultimately we get this answer as 4.4499, which is approximately 4.45. So we can find out this pH is equal to 4.45. So please remember, my dear students, these are the kind of problems that may be asked to you. This pH of buffer, this particular point has been developed to a higher level. If it is not included in your textbook, if you look into the last pages of your textbook, then they have given this kind of text in your textbook so that you can understand. I have even added few of the important questions so that you can understand, and I found such questions are asked into the various exams, so I have included them for you. Now my dear students, we will study the next point, that is about the solubility equilibria of sparingly soluble salt. Now, if you have any doubt into the previous questions, you can ask me or we can move forward. Dear students, have you understood it or not? Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you for replying, dear students. You can even stop me in between if you have or if you could not understand anything, so that we can discuss it. Now let's move forward and understand the other part. Let's move and understand about the solubility equilibria of sparingly soluble salt. Solubility of ionic solids in water varies in a great deal. So, different substances dissolves in different proportion. For example, if you add sodium chloride into the solution, into the water, it dissolves easily. But if you add some stone, my dear students, then stone does not dissolve. Stones remains into the rivers for years and years and still they do not dissolve. That means there are some substances which are highly soluble in water. At the same time, there are some other substances also which are insoluble in water. I hope, my dear students, you agree with this. Some of them are so soluble that they are hygroscopic in nature. Now let us understand the meaning of hygroscopic in nature. Some substances, when they are placed into the air or into the atmosphere, these substances become wet. These substances become wet. If there is an impurity of magnesium sulfate or magnesium chloride into our NaCl, my dear students, such NaCl, if it is placed inside, if it is placed outside, it becomes wet. So such substances, hygroscopic means substances that absorbs moisture from the air. So they themselves are such highly soluble in water that even in air some moisture is present. They absorb this moisture and get wet. For example, CaCl2. CaCl2 is the substance that absorbs the moisture from air, and are these substances which are hygroscopic in nature are used to make environment moisture free, because even they absorbs water from the atmosphere. So this kind of substances, they absorb the water from the moisture, and this is how uh, they are used to make the environment moisture free. So suppose we are going to do an experiment where we need a moisture-free environment. In the vessel, we will first put calcium chloride so that all the moistures can be soaked away by calcium chloride. Now, other substances such as lithium fluoride have so little solubility that they are commonly termed as insoluble. So substances like lithium fluoride, they are not soluble in water at all, or they are soluble in water in such a small quantity that we call them insoluble. The solubility depends upon the number of factors such as lattice enthalpy of salt and solvation enthalpy of ions. For a salt to be soluble in water, a lattice enthalpy, which is a measure of force of attraction between ions, must be less than the solvation enthalpy, which is the measure of ion solvent interaction. So please understand, my dear student, that our lattice enthalpy is a measure of force of attraction between the ions. We have some cation, we have some anion. These ions, they are attracted by the uh, electrostatic force of attraction. This measure of electrostatic force of attraction is your lattice enthalpy, my dear students. But when it comes to the solvation enthalpy is the measure of ion solvent interaction. So how much this ion, whether it is positive or it is negative ion, how much it is interacted or attracted towards the water molecule. These are the water molecules. You can see that they surround these ions. So if the solvent is water, the process is known as solvation. If solvent is something else, then if the solvent is water, the process is known as hydration. But if the solvent is something else, my dear students, that is why we use the general term solvation. When solvation of ions takes place, energy is released. Please remember that whenever solvation of ion takes place, energy is definitely going to be released. So the enthalpy of solvation has always negative value. So enthalpy of solution has always negative value. Solvation enthalpy depends upon the nature of the solvent. Please remember that this solvation enthalpy depends upon the nature of the solvent, and enthalpy of solvent has always negative value. That means the energy is released all the way. Now, my dear students, in case of the non-polar or covalent solvent, solvation enthalpy is small. So if we have the non-polar or covalent solvent, the solvation enthalpy is small. So solvation enthalpy of non-polar solvents are not sufficient to overcome the lattice enthalpy, and thus ionic salt, thus ionic salt does not dissolve in non-polar covalent solvents. So please remember, my dear student, that the solvation enthalpy of non-polar solvents are the solvents which are organic solvents like benzene, carbon tetrachloride. They are known as the non-polar solvent, but water is the polar solvent. So when we add the ionic compounds into the non-polar solvent, these ionic compounds does not dissolve into the non-polar covalent solvent. such as benzene, carbon tetrachloride, petrol, diesel, etc. So we have a simple rule, my dear student, and the simple rule is like dissolves like. That means ionic compound which are polar, they dissolve in water, which is a polar solvent, but covalent compounds which are non-polar, they generally dissolve into organic solvents such as benzene or carbon tetrachloride and diesel and petrol. So we have this rule, my dear students, or this is what we can conclude, that polar solvent dissolves the polar compounds or ionic compounds. Like water is a polar solvent. Non-polar solvents dissolves non-polar compounds. For example, on the basis of the solubility, salt can be classified in three categories. So now, my dear students, we can classify these salts into the various three categories. Let us see what are those three categories of the salt in which we classify them. This classification is based on the solubility of the salt. The first category, my dear student, of this the first category of this kind of salt, they are known as the soluble salt. So category one, my dear students, we can write, they are known as the soluble salt. Soluble salt. This soluble salt, they have solubility greater than or equal to 0.1 mole per liter. So if the solubility is 0.1 mole per liter or greater than 0.1 mole per liter, these kind of salts are known as soluble salt. Then we have the second category, which is known as the slightly soluble salt. This slightly soluble salt have the solubility between 0.01 molar to 0.1 molar. Please remember the solubility is between 0.01 molar to 0.1 molar. And we have the third category, which are known as the sparingly soluble salt, and they have the solubility less than 0.01 mole per liter. Please remember these three category. Now we want to study about the solubility product constant. Let us study the equilibrium between the sparingly soluble ionic salt. Please remember, here we are talking about sparingly soluble ionic salt whose solubility is always less than 0.01 mole per liter. So it is very much less soluble and it is ionic in nature. Please remember, we are talking about ionic salt, which are ionic in nature and they are sparingly soluble salt. Please remember, we are talking about the salt which is ionic in nature and it is sparingly soluble salt, and its ions are in the saturated solution. So we will study about the saturated solution where we have the solid salts and ions are also present into it, and they have the equilibrium. There is an equilibrium and the solution is a saturated solution. So we will discuss here. If we take the example of ionic solids such as barium sulfate and its ions in aqueous solution, the equilibrium between the undissociated solid and the ions in saturated solution can be represented in this way. So if we take BaSO4 whose solubility is less than 0.01 mole per liter, it develops, or when we add it to water, it dissociates into very small quantity and produces barium plus 2 and SO4 minus 2 ions. So when it dissolves, it gives us the saturated solution in water, and then there is an equilibrium between the undissociated or solid barium sulfate and the ions Ba plus 2 and SO4 minus 2. Now in such condition, my dear students, when we have the equilibrium established between the BaSO4 and Ba plus 2 and SO4 minus 2, the equilibrium constant K we can write as the concentration of Ba plus 2 multiplied by the concentration of SO4 minus 2 divided by the concentration of BaSO4. We know that solid substances, their concentration is considered either unity or can be considered as a constant. So concentration of BaSO4 solid is considered as a constant, and therefore the we multiplied with the K. So concentration of BaSO4 multiplied by K is equal to concentration of Ba plus 2 multiplied by concentration of SO4 minus 2, and therefore K multiplied by BaSO4 is equal to KSP. and therefore KSP is equal to concentration of Ba plus 2 multiplied by concentration of SO4 minus 2. Here the concentration of BaSO4 multiplied by the equilibrium constant, we collectively call it KSP, and this KSP is known as the solubility product constant. So this is how we understand about the solubility product constant. The experimental value of the KSP in above equation, my dear student, at 298 Kelvin is 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10. So we can say that concentration of Ba plus 2 multiplied by the concentration of SO4 minus 2 is equal to 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10 at 298 Kelvin. This means that, it simply means that for solid barium sulfate in equilibrium with its saturated solution, the product of the concentration of barium ion and sulfate ion is equal to its solubility product constant. So this is what it is, the word representation of this, that the concentration or the product of the concentration of the cation and anion is equal to its solubility product KSP. That is what we can easily understand. Let's move forward and understand in detail, my dear student. Now we have a question. The concentration of two ions will be equal to the molar solubility of the barium sulfate. So if we say molar solubility is equal to solubility of BaSO4 in 1 liter of solution, and that is what it is known as the molar solubility. So my dear students, here we have the definition of molar solubility. What is molar solubility? Please keep it in your mind that the molar solubility is the concentration of two ions be equal to the molar solubility of the barium sulfate. So what is the definition of molar solubility? Molar solubility is the solubility of salt in 1 liter solution. Please remember, if someone asks you what is molar solubility of a salt, molar solubility of a salt is equal to the solubility of that salt in 1 liter solution. This molar solubility of salt is represented by the symbol S. So now, my dear students, we can say that when there is an equilibrium established between the BaSO4 solid and the concentration, or in the Ba plus 2 and SO4 minus 2, the solid in 1 liter in 1 liter solution, the amount of BaSO4 that has been dissociated or that has been ionized is equal to S, and that is why the concentration of Ba plus 2 is equal to the molar solubility of BaSO4, and the concentration of SO4 minus 2 is also equal to the molar solubility of BaSO4. Therefore, my dear students, we are well aware that KSP is equal to concentration of Ba plus 2 multiplied by concentration of SO4 minus 2. The concentration of Ba plus 2 is equal to S. The concentration of SO4 minus 2 is equal to S, and therefore KSP is equal to S square. But my dear students, the value of KSP is equal to 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 10.